friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kaylee, and this is a new vlog series that is going to be covering my postpartum journey. I still don't have a name for the vlog series. I actually posted my very first episode the other day. You guys can check that out. It's just my birth story, kind of catching you guys up from what happened from the last time you saw me in my hospital bag video into my labor and delivery story, and then kind of catching you guys up until now. So I am officially 4 months postpartum, and I feel like I'm finally able to get into a routine that works, meaning that nap time, and we've been dealing with sleepless nights and just things, typical baby stuff has made it really difficult to establish a routine. But Bennett is now taking solid naps. If you've been following me on Instagram, you saw me struggling for months trying to get my child to nap, but he's officially a champion nap taker. So we are good to go there. So I feel like I have more time than I've had before in the past. Now that I've navigated through the newborn phase and my son is officially 4 months old and we've got naps covered, and I just feel like we're finally into this normal routine, I do feel like I can take an initiative and get my health on track. So I am ready to get my postpartum body in shape. So I'm really excited to share this journey with you guys. In this video, we are going to be covering the subject of meal prep because that is something you guys have wanted to see for a while now. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've seen you, I've heard you, I know that you want to see me do meal prep because I talk about this every Sunday. This is what I do. I prepare myself for the week ahead and I get my meals squared away because one, being a mom is difficult. It's hard to eat. I used to laugh at people who said that they forgot to eat. I was like, how do you forget to eat? My whole day revolves around eating, but that's before I had a child to take care of. So not only am I going to be equipping myself to eat plenty during the day, but also equipping myself to not grab chips as my lunch because let's be real, even though I am a certified nutritionist, I still make mistakes when it comes to my diet. So we're going to go through a step-by-step of exactly what I do to prepare for the week ahead, going from, planning my meals out to grocery shopping and then to prepping the meals itself. So I'm really excited to share this little tutorial with you, kind of let you guys see how I meal prep for the week ahead. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video. I am releasing videos on Mondays and Fridays, so stay tuned for that. If you are new to the Measuring Whole community, I would love it if you would drop a comment below so I can say hi and get to know you. Without further ado, let's get into prepping. So when planning for the week ahead, I always go on my computer and get some inspiration either from Pinterest or my personal blog on what kind of foods I want to eat for the week. And then I begin making a grocery list. Typically, I just kind of search around on there for about 30 minutes, kind of find some different ideas. That way I can change things up week to week, and that way my food doesn't get boring, because one of the biggest things I tell my clients is it's okay to change your food up and not eat the same thing all the time. I feel like there's this misconception with meal prep where you have to eat the same foods every single day, and that's not the case at all. You can make your favorite foods and make this fun for yourself. So once I get inspired, I make a grocery list, and then once I have everything on my list, I go to the grocery store and begin to shop. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of myself grocery shopping. I'll try to do that next time. I was a single parent this weekend because Brad had duty, and grocery shopping with a baby is just an event in itself. You have to excuse my kitchen right now. It's a mess, it's small, and it's outdated. We're in a rental right now, so I just had to kind of work with what I've got. But as far as meal prep goes, so after I get back from the store, I kind of set myself up to start just going through what I have. I set out all of my vegetables and produce, and I work with those first. There's really no rhyme or reason why. I just like to get my produce and stuff out of the way, and then I cook my meats for the week after. So typically, I just kind of set everything out, see what I have, and then I go from there. Once I've set out all my produce, I begin to wash it before I even think about cooking it. This is so important just because, one, there's pesticides on your produce. You want to get that stuff off before you put it in your mouth. And then also, we've been in a pandemic for over a year now. So you definitely want to make sure you wash your fruits and veggies before even thinking about cooking them. To wash my fruits and veggies, I fill my sink up with cold water and add 1/4 to 1/2 cup of white vinegar to the water, and let my vegetables soak for about 10 minutes before pulling them out and letting them air dry on a towel. The reason I do between 1/4 and 1/2, it just depends on how much fruit you're washing. Today I have a lot of fruit and vegetables to wash, so I did 1/2 cup. Typically, I allow my fruits and vegetables to air dry completely before storing them in my refrigerator. Once all all my fruit and vegetables are clean, I go ahead and start cooking my veggies. I always start with sweet potatoes or whatever root vegetable I'm doing first, just because they take the longest to cook. So I just chop my clean vegetables up and put them on a foil lined baking sheet. I always line my sheets with foil just because it makes cleanup so much easier at the end of all this, because to be honest, meal prepping takes a while and the last thing you want to do is have a ton of mess to clean up. So line your baking sheets with foil. It makes it so much easier. And then once you have all your chopped veggies, I don't really do anything super special. I just drizzle them with olive oil. I mix this up and then I add salt and pepper for flavoring. Once my sweet potatoes are seasoned and oiled, I go ahead and kind of shake the pan, spread everything out, and then I place them in my oven to cook. I typically cook my sweet potatoes at 450 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes, just depending on how many sweet potatoes I'm cooking. And then I move on to my other vegetables that I plan on roasting in my oven. This week I'm doing green beans. Those are my favorite. So I'm doing this the same way, seasoning them with olive oil, salt, and pepper, a little bit of onion powder, and a little bit of garlic powder. These are my two faves. And then I will just pop these in the oven with the sweet potatoes and allow these to cook for about 20 minutes or until they are fork tender. I try not to let my vegetables overcook because I don't want them to be soft, just because they are going to be prepped and saved to eat over the next 4 days. Like I said before, I always start with my vegetables that take the longest to cook, and I pop those in my oven first to roast, and then I move on to my other vegetables. Anything that can be cooked on the stovetop, go ahead and wait and cook those while your veggies are roasting in the oven. That way you can kind of kill two birds with one stone and get things moving with your meal prep so you don't take all day. The next thing you see me prepping are some vegetables that I'm going to roast in a pan. I'm just doing peppers and onions for omelets in the morning. So I'm not going to make an entire omelet and prep it beforehand. I just don't like eggs cooked beforehand. If that's your thing, go for it, but that's just not, I can't. So I'm just prepping my vegetables for my omelet. So I'll saute my vegetables lightly, just kind of get them started, and that way they are ready to go, portioned out, and all I have to do is add the eggs in the morning. One tip I would like to add is to prep your breakfast. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it just makes it easier for yourself in the morning. That way you don't skip breakfast, because breakfast really does set the tone for your day. Once all of my veggies are cooked, I begin to portion them out in my containers. I just set all my containers on my counter and go to town. I will say in the past, I do have a food scale, so I have measured out. Right now, I'm just kind of eyeballing everything. I'm doing Whole30, and you're not supposed to measure. The only thing I'm weighing out currently is my meat, just because I'm trying to make sure I'm getting enough protein in. That's actually an area that I lack in often. But I just kind of evenly portion out my vegetables. You can use measuring cups in terms of, how to measure how much you're eating if that's something you want to do, but I tend to eat intuitively. I've learned how to do that since getting pregnant, and it seems to be working for me. So, since I am currently not counting macros and just eating intuitively, I will take my veggies and divvy them up the best that I can in my containers for the week. And then I follow up just to make sure everything's even and put it on my food scale, because I'm OCD and I like to make sure everything is even. I do want to note that you do not have to have a food scale in order to meal prep correctly. You can portion things out with your eyes, you can portion them out with measuring cups. So don't feel like you have to purchase a food scale in order to be successful at meal prepping. The only reason I have one is when I did bodybuilding in the past, and so I just have one laying around the house. But I do want to make note of that you don't have to have a food scale. Meal prep needs to be simple. It needs to be something that you can do easily, and I don't want you to feel like you have to have all of these tools in order to be successful at it. As I stated before, keep meal prep simple. Make your food measurable, meaning pick stuff that you can measure out easily with a measuring cup. It doesn't need to be these long, elaborate recipes with all these ingredients that get you overwhelmed and frustrated. Pick a protein, pick a starch, meaning sweet potato, regular potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, etc., and some green vegetables, and you're good to go. When meal prepping, I go as far as making my snacks too, just because I'm a mom. I really don't have time during the day to make myself a snack. And my biggest problem right now is eating. throughout the day. I never thought that would be an issue, but I really do have trouble eating. And then when I do, I just grab something convenient. So that's why I meal prep. It makes it convenient. I have no excuse to eat unhealthy whenever I have food already prepared for myself in the fridge. So if this is somewhere that you struggle with, maybe not being prepared or just grabbing a snack, make your snacks readily available for yourself. Set yourself up for success, because that is the key to getting to where you want to be with your goals. Once my vegetables are cooked and my snacks are portioned out, I finish up with cooking my meat. So I save protein for last. It's just something that kind of takes a while and I can kind of walk away from it. Whereas with vegetables, you're sauteing over the stove and you have to watch them. But what I typically do is I take whatever protein source I'm doing and I cut it up into bite-sized pieces so it cooks quicker and I can just portion it out a lot easier that way. I am doing chicken this week as well as salmon. My salmon I am not cooking ahead of time. I buy frozen salmon in bulk from Sam's and Costco, and then I just defrost it in my refrigerator the day before I'm going to eat it and cook it right before. Fish is super suspicious. I would not recommend prepping it ahead of time. I prepped tilapia for contest prep and it was disgusting. So let me just save you the trouble and cook your fish right before you eat it. I promise you'll thank me later. Once my chicken is cut up, I season it with chicken seasoning. I've linked my favorite below. I've also listed out everything that I'm eating this week so you guys can kind of get a visual of what I eat in a day and what I've prepped. Today, you'll see me cooking my chicken in my air fryer. I love my air fryer. If you don't have one, highly recommend you get one. But I've also listed directions below on how to cook your chicken in the oven. I stated before that I walk away when I cook my meat, but that's only because I put it in the oven. If you tend on cooking your meat on the stovetop, please do not walk away from it. After my chicken is finished cooking, I allow it to cool for a few minutes and then I place it in my bento boxes that already have the veggies in. I allow everything to cool with the lids off for about 20 minutes before placing my lids on, just because I don't want to get a lot of moisture trapped into my container, making my veggies soggy. And once I've gotten the lids on everything, I store it in my refrigerator for the week. Meal prep really isn't that difficult. I set aside about 2.5 hours of my Sunday every week to set myself up for success for the week ahead. Meal prepping has become such a huge part of my life. It really does keep me on track towards my goals and allow me to stay on top of my healthy living habits while being a new mom. All right, friends, so that was a pretty extensive look into what meal prepping looks like for me right now. So like I said, I'm currently doing Whole30, so I am not counting macros. The only thing I'm keeping an eye on is my protein intake in order to reach my physique goals. Currently, I want to put back on some muscle, eat away a little bit of this fat that I have sitting around my midsection from carrying a child. So that's where my main focus is just getting enough protein in the day and also keeping my carbs complex and my fats healthy. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them below. As always, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video. I am so excited to take you guys along with me on this journey to getting my body back. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.